to Go, your daily dose of pop culture stories. Hot to Go. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kendall.
And your mic's not on.
I'm Kendall.
And I'm Mike.
And Gwyneth Paltrow. I feel like she's at a real place. Ever since Goop has now been a formal place where we buy vibrators instead of anything else, she's kind of been relaxed about spilling all the tea. She went to Vanity Fair magazine and talked about all of her exes, every single one. And the number one ex that's asked about in her life is the Meghan Markle of the U.S., Brad Pitt.
That's who I want to know about.
Everyone has. She said that it's pretty much the same as royalty. Dating Brad Pitt, I will always come up. I don't know. It's like Prince William or something. That's always going to come up. The conversation will always lead to, what was it like to date Brad Pitt? What was it like to date Brad Pitt? Brad Pitt.
And what'd she say? Was she like, yeah, it was great? Or no, it sucked? Or he's great in bed. His penis is crooked.
That would be the kind of information I'm looking for in Vanity Fair. Unfortunately, it was pretty fluffy. She said he's a very intriguing character. Nothing bad was said. It was just along the lines of like dating him was intense because of how popular he is. And my life, like literally, and now I live my life always being asked about him.
Okay, intriguing, I feel like in Hollywood speak is interesting in Minnesota speak.
I know.
It's always a good thing.
I know. I could see her saying it as a positive, but you're right. Like if my mom says, that man is intriguing, I'd say, you hate him.
Like, that's interesting.
She's interesting. She's fun is another way of saying promiscuous girl.
Yeah, that's interesting in the South. Like, what do they say in the South where they go, bless her heart.
Bless your heart.
But
Yeah,
I'm about to curse you out.
I'm about to give you some tea on this person. Bless her heart, but she
that's how I feel like intriguing.
can't keep a man. And then she was talking about her ex. As we know, the one she has got kids with.
Chris Appleton?
No, Chris Martin.
Chris Martin. Why are they Appleton?
Because their son is Apple.
Yeah,
there
we go.
Chris Martin. And she said some really nice things about it, like talking about how close they are. And she says, it's not quite brother, but we are complete family. He is there for me through anything and vice versa. And you love to see that.
And she talked about Dakota Johnson, too?
No.
We would have loved that.
We would have.
Mm-hmm. No, she did not. But yeah, for the most part, she just said positive things and how it was pretty intense dating Brad Pitt.
Well, I can imagine. I mean, can you... Actually, I can't. I cannot fathom dating someone that is... You're famous. You're already super famous in your own right? Like, she's Gwyneth Paltrow, and at the time, I think that was when she did Shakespeare in Love and a couple of other very, very big movies.
Yeah.
And you go, you're still not as famous as this human. And at the time, there's no social media. So the paparazzi of it all back then would have been just overwhelming.
They were such a beautiful couple. I can still just see them in their 90s glory, just like walking around looking fabulous. I think it is akin to, I mean, I think Selena Gomez might be, is she less or more famous or equal famous to Justin Bieber? But I think it's that same thing where it's like, yes, you will be your own person, but you also will have been the person who dated Justin Bieber.
100%.
Yeah.
I just think, and I mean, the Selena, I think that's a good example in that she's very famous, but like he's more famous.
You think so?
I think so in the sense of he was the heartthrob of a generation.
True.
Justin Bieber and Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Like, you put the name Brad Pitt out there and people, like, there's songs about him being so much of a swooner.
I always think of like a dad who is not listening to our show. What are the chances he's going to know who Selena Gomez is by name or Justin Bieber? He's going to know who Justin Bieber is. He just is. And he might think of one of the Selenas going, I'm not sure.
Is she the one who that movie's about? Nope.
Wrong one.
Wrong one. Good try.
Maybe Sabrina? Nope. Wrong one.
Nope. She did that Christmas
Have you ever
special.
tried this one before? So yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow giving us all the deets on the exes.
Giving the tea, but not enough tea.
I know. It never will be enough.
Never.
I mean, I need her like a couple drinks in, hanging out with us. And I don't think it'd take many drinks for her.
No. I don't it would probably take like one actual shot of tequila.
She seems like somebody who would dish one-on-one for sure. Like if we were hanging out with her just because she I just love watching her in interviews. She is infectious, is all I'm gonna, like. I love watching her talk because she is thoughtful about what she says, but I think she would loosen up around us and we'd get all of it.
Well, there's a bit too with her of like she has no F's left to give.
I know.
Because she said even though she is doing a movie right now, she'd said before, like, I'm done acting. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just going to focus on my brand.
Yeah.
That's not what brings me joy. She's obviously doing that movie with Timothée Chalamet. We were just talking about it yesterday. So, but like other than that, who does she care if she ticks people off? I mean, her company Goop is all about being outrageous. Here's your Christmas list, this $12,000 foot bath you can give your loved one. Oh, here's a vibrator we sell and a candle called vagina. Like she doesn't care.
She doesn't.
It like works for her to not care.
And especially if there was any F's to give, she definitely quit giving them after that trial because watching her on the stand was honestly, who would have thought it was beautiful. Watching her go, you ran into me. I don't really care.
Yeah, I wish you well.
Good luck. Something you are unwell. It was amazing.
What did she say? Was it I wish you well or good luck? Or I forget. When she walked away, it wasn't mean. It was just like,
yeah, you're on your own. It's like
I
me
wish
going,
you well. Goodbye.
That's your journey. I love that for you.
Oh, so good.
Well, I lost half a day of skiing. Is that what the line was? She made that statement.
She did say that.
She basically made that statement. Oh, I wish you well is how she ultimately ended up.
Thank you. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. She like tapped. She like kind of leaned her head in and was like, I wish you well.
Yeah, the one thing went viral was her saying, I lost a half a day of skiing. And then, whispered, I wish you well.
So good.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Okay. Ellen Pompeo. She's making the rounds right now. She was just recently on the Call Her Daddy podcast. And she talked a lot about like money and making sure women are able to get it. And the things that she said, I just loved. So she goes and like, she kind of starts the whole conversation. Ellen Pompeo of Grey's Anatomy fame. Like, I grew up very Boston. I thought mafia guys, I knew they had money and I knew they had power and I knew I wanted to get it. And she's like, I don't mean to sound weird, but like I equated money with power very early on in my life and I knew I didn't have any. So I go into this career of acting and I know, again, I don't have any. So she said she was a couple years shy of 40 when she started things at Grey's Anatomy. And so they offered her this original contract. And she was like, okay, yeah, like give me whatever. I just want a job. And then after she finished that first contract, she's like, okay, by the time I'm done with this, I'll be 40 years old. And at the time she was, that was like a death sentence for women in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I just took whatever they give me. I was like, sure, whatever. Give me whatever you want. I don't even care. And she talks about that a little bit and then how that eventually went into that $20 million contract. Do you guys remember like the stir this caused that Ellen Pompeo dare ask for $20 million a year contract?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
It was wild. She goes, it's so funny because I was negotiating this in 2018. She goes, I went to Shonda Rhimes, the show's creator, right away. And she goes, because Shonda Rhimes didn't really have anything to do with the money side of it, but I respected her so much. And I was like, I don't want to come off crazy. It's just, I've done my homework. I know how much this show generates. I know how popular I am. The show is named after my character, Meredith Grey. Like, I deserve a piece of this. And she goes, she basically said, like, girl, advocate for yourself. Like, you do you. And I told my agent, Ellen Pompeo said this. I told them I'm going to do this $20 million contract. And her agent was like, be prepared for people to hate you. And it was just shocking to me how many people were so mad that I had the audacity to ask for money that Patrick Dempsey, my co-star, was already making.
Yeah.
And the show was like based off of me. And so she kind of goes into that and then eventually says, here's the deal. Like, ladies, ride the coattails of powerful men. She said, don't let them step on you, but step on their toes. Let them like do the dance with them. Like, okay, yep, I'll step right here. I'll ride on your coattails. And then I'm going to make sure that I get mine.
Yeah.
Because of it. Because she's like, because he had a leg up. She was nothing. And this is my favorite quote that's really going around right now is Ellen Pompeo's like, nothing personal to him, Patrick Dempsey, but just in general, only a man can fail or have 13 failed TV pilots. And their quote for money still keeps going up.
Yeah.
And she's like, in all fairness, his quote was what it was. It's just like crazy to me that it was so much more money than me. And she goes, everybody knew him. Nobody knew who Ellen Pompeo was at the time. She goes, but it was wild to me that everyone had such a reaction.
The backlash.
To when 5 years later, I asked for the same thing. And it's a great conversation.
Especially because in her mind, I mean, the thing is, Grace is now gone on forever. Grace probably in her mind probably had 3 more years tops.
Right.
So it's like, this is my rate. You obviously still want me here. And what's wrong? And the public looking at that any other way, but like, I hope she gets it. Or if she doesn't get it, like, or whatever, like, they didn't want her to leave.
No.
The same thing happened. Remember with, oh my God, I can't remember the name. It's the Chicago family that lives, I have to look up the name of the show. But when the female lead, who was a daughter in it, was asking for the equal pay, let me look up the name. But people were outraged
that she would want the same pay.
Yes, as him. And he actually advocated for her too, being like, it makes sense. She's in, it was Fiona was the character's name.
I don't know what that show is. I do know, like, while you look that up.
Shameless.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
I didn't watch
Shameless, with the Gallagher family.
Yep.
The actor in the male actor in it would play the father, and he wasn't nearly in as many scenes.
William H. Macy.
Yes, thank you. And then Emma Rossum, she was the one who played Fiona Gallagher, and at this point, they'd done God knows how many seasons, and she was in almost every scene all the time. So she said, "I want equal pay as William H. Macy," and they said, "It's William H. Macy." Well, we kind of are on a level playing field here.
Right,
Even
in this
though
specific
he's
role.
Yeah, I get that people want, and when she left, show sucked. Because they had to like rationalize why the sister, who was at one point the main flag, the main post, like holding up the whole tent,
Right.
is gone. They had to rationalize why she never comes back.
Right.
It'd be one thing if she like moves out of the house and you see her once an episode, but like literally like this human's gone now.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, looking back in 2018, it's not that long ago. Like, this was 7 years ago that Ellen Pompeo had to do this. And she like continues and is like, listen, I don't care what people think of me. Like, I can't control that, but I am going to use my privilege at this point that I've worked for and the success that I've had to build for good. And it's just wild. Here I am at 55 and like things like I'm getting a second chapter in my own life, but also like things are finally starting to move for women in a way that the fact that 7 years ago, it was absolutely insane that the woman who was the heart of this show would be asking for the same amount as her male colleague.
Yeah.
Just like, it just reminded me, I was like, Ellen Pompeo, because there was that weird time right around when the $20 million contract came out, like for about a year there, that there were just all these nasty stories about her being difficult.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people from there too, because remember
Izzy?
Yeah, Izzy. Oh my God, I can't remember anybody's
Katherine
name today.
Heigl.
Thank you, Mike. Katherine Heigl got this terrible reputation of on that set for being rude, a monster, difficult, and it comes out. It's like actually she was just somebody who had boundaries.
Yeah, wild, and like it didn't tank her career, but it hurt it a lot.
I would say it.
She was in other movies after that, but
Barely.
like
Not much, yeah.
I mean, she
knocked up after that.
She went from, I mean, it could have been came out right after that, but she went from being in everything. That woman was in everything
27 dresses
to nothing.
Wild. Okay, Mike, the follow-up of the century.
Yeah.
We do have a big follow-up. Now, we mentioned yesterday that Pete Davidson, is doing something Pete Davidson's never done before. He's dating a normie.
Yeah,
so
we learned that
cute.
yesterday.
He's with somebody who's a non-celebrity, and we're all like, oh, who could it be?
Maybe a Minneapolis DJ.
It could
Who's
be.
got a 3 to 6 show.
Uh-huh.
Did you just refer to yourself as a DJ again?
Wicka, wicka, wicka.
All the music we play here.
Yeah. That was all lies. All of it's lies. Pete Davidson's mystery new non-celebrity girlfriend is Ryan Phillippe, Jason Sudeikis, and Benny Blanco's ex-model girlfriend, who has like millions of followers on Instagram.
She's just like us.
And she's also an actress and has been in multiple shows. Like, she's absolutely not just your average non-celebrity. This is absolutely a publicationship.
Oh, what's her name?
Her
What did
name
she do?
is Elise Hewitt. She, again, like I said, has dated Ryan Phillippe in the past, also Benny Blanco and Jason Sudeikis. She's a 29-year-old model from the UK. She's also a food influencer over on social media, on Instagram. She likes to go out and try all sorts of different foods from all across the world. She seems lovely. I'm not holding anything against her.
No.
I'm just saying this idea that she's some sort of non-celebrity that maybe is giving him a perspective or giving him a different experience than somebody who's dating for fame.
Yeah.
Not so much.
What an interesting roster of people she's dated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put them all together, you know?
It's so weird. Their photos are so stupid. It's like they went to this public beach.
Oh, the licking kiss thing?
Yeah,
Or they're
they
just
went
like
to the public
full on
beach. First off,
tongue out?
as adults, how often do we go to the beach? Especially if you live where a beach is, it's rare. And like, unless you're on vacation. I know people that have lived in LA for like 10 years, like, we've never made it to the beach. So, okay, so they go to this beach.
Yeah, but where's the paparazzi at?
I know. They go to this beach, which they have to give the paparazzi a heads up too, because it's not like paparazzis are hanging out at beaches. Because again, nobody who lives near a beach goes to one. It's just a fact, dolls.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, 2 grown adults being like, let's get in the water. That's another rarity. Like,
Wait.
And then let's kiss by extending our tongues as far as they'll possibly go and lick each other's tips of the tongues.
yeah, it is just
So romantic.
posed. And as they get out, they're both like, man, this is why I don't go in the ocean. You can just tell they're like, oh.
I also am so confused because
What's
he
that?
has so many tattoos still.
Oh, that's a good point.
What?
Yeah, but way less.
I mean,
His
he had
arms
a
used
lot
to be
start.
full. If you look at his arms, it's way less.
Huh. Those ads, they airbrushed the junk out of him then.
Yeah.
Because those ads we looked
You
at,
can-
I mean, he literally looked like he had never had a tattoo on
So-
his body.
The process of it is fading them. If you look at that right bicep or the right forearm, you can see that there's stuff being faded off of them. It just takes a long time. So it takes like, I don't know how many, like 10 rounds where you have to go in and they laser it off. It's very painful and it takes a long time. And you can tell on the upper chest, he's also been working on that as well.
I mean, the tongue-on-tongue picture.
It's so, all this. Who's, I'm sorry, like, I know I'm probably being really closed-minded, but like, if somebody, if someone was like, hey, let's just go stand in the beach, I go, we don't have kids. We don't have to get in. Unless it's 110 degrees, we don't have to go stand right at the edge of the water.
It's such a salty kiss, too.
It's so. Let's hold hands and stand there.
I don't know. My biggest problem with this whole thing is we were told yesterday that he, was giving anyone a chance. Anyone had an opportunity to find love with Pete Davidson.
I know.
And no, it's just
changed my-
another aspiring actress who's got a big following.
Could have been Britney.
I know. I
Could've been.
changed my vision board and everything.
Who was on it before?
Cats.
And then Dylan Efron.
Dylan
Yeah,
Efron.
Dylan.
That's what I was thinking about.
I've been really hurt by him. He's been really making the rounds and reminding me that he has a girlfriend.
Long time, like high school sweetheart
It's-
girlfriend.
It's actually so rude because he went so long without talking about her while he was on Traders and then brings her up in every interview now.
Rude as hell.
I actually am not even interested in him unless he breaks up with her tomorrow. I'll date him.
Okay, cool. Well, Pete Davidson's maybe going to be on your dance card in like a month because none of his relationships last longer than that anyway.
Correct.
Yeah, but there's nobody, he's not dating a just like us. I have to wait till he slums it up. And
This
then
is him slumming it up.
He might have to start using again.
Oh, my.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, I don't know if like a sober Pete Davidson is going to take me as a lover.
I don't know. This girl's got a crazy body.
Yeah, thank you.
No,
Oh.
you do too, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
This girl just definitely doesn't eat the pizza she says she's eating on her.
Yeah, exactly. Food influencer.
Like, okay,
Pictures.
same. Whatever.
She's just cute taking pictures next to him. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. I have some tea. Sophia Bush. You guys know her. She just Chicago PD. She's been in A Million Things, One Tree Hill, like all kinds of movies. So she's been dating girlfriend Ashlyn Harris for like over a year at this point. They have said, we are not married. We're just dating. They, of course, met and started dating while Ashlyn Harris was still married to her ex.
Yeah.
However, all the people who read the tea leaves were actually reading her phone at South by Southwest. She's holding it and kind of holding it in her hand where you can just barely make out that there's a few initials on the bottom of her phone case while she's like animatedly talking to this interviewer. And if you zoom in, they have the initials SBH. Sophia Bush Harris. Now, this wouldn't even be that crazy. You're like, you wouldn't do that if it was just your girlfriend. You wouldn't put her initial. You know what I mean? Like, that's like a weird thing to do. Like, I didn't use Jordan's initials when we were dating. She also did this last time with her ex-husband. She used her initials on like everything. So, me in the world of underground tea leaf people, super zoomers, thinks she might be married.
Okay, but here's the thing.
What?
Her ex's last name was Hughes.
Exactly.
But she's not going to be keeping that phone case. There's no, she does not like keeping a phone case from 2 years ago with her ex's initials on it. Tell me, if you guys break up with somebody, do you want their initials on something that you own? Are you going to still use it?
But I guess they were only dated. They only were married for a year. I was going to say, if they were married for a lot longer, it'd been like, well, those are your, initials probably for most documents.
I don't know. It's weirder if you quickly get rid of a phone case, like a year later, or immediately buy a phone case with your new initials on it. Like either one.
Yeah.
You're doing some extra stuff.
But if you buy it's like you just got married, you monogram the hell out of everything. Ellie got married over the weekend and everything is already changed to her new initials.
I mean, to be fair, you already alluded to the fact that there was definitely some timeline issues between these relationships. Mm-hmm. She may have just looked at this opportunity and been like, well, it's SBH now. I might as well just keep the phone case because it's going to be SBH here in a little bit.
She a rich girl. She's not keeping her phone case. She's not like us. Are you super zooming into this video, Brittany? Do you see it now?
Also, it kind of looks, it could be an A. Do we know her middle name?
No.
Anna, sorry, yeah. Sophia Anna Bush, but it'd be S-A-B.
Hey, no. If you do it the old-fashioned way, you put your last name in the middle.
Yeah, but that's only when the B would be bigger, though.
Still, you can still do that.
Nobody does that. You'd always have the like last initial, and yes, I know that that's like how you do that, but you would have your first and your middle names would be smaller in font size, and the middle, your last name in the middle would be bigger font.
We should keep following this thread.
Guys, I'm just saying, they're married.
They're married.
I'm
fine with that.
I am calling it.
I barely know who she is, so I feel like it's fine. She could be married. They're cute as all heck.
They're cute. Oh, Jimmy Fallon. Is he deciding maybe he's not a Meghan Markle fan?
Oh, no.
Okay. So on The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon was playing one of his games. And the question was, what is the number one question that mystifies scientists? And Jimmy's answer was, is there life on another planet? And the answer in the typical way that they respond is Jeopardy style. The answer is, oh no, why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? And Jimmy starts uncontrollably laughing. He's like, this is so interesting. She just takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag, and that confuses people. Now, if you're totally lost, it's because on her show that she has on Netflix, she was talking about how she likes to make nice arrangements for guests at her house. Meghan Markle does. And she said, I buy these store-bought pretzels that are in a bag like this big. They're like a small bag.
Yeah.
And then she puts them in a cuter bag and ties it up in a bow and a little handwritten letter on it. And so Jimmy Fallon, in essence, and his show are trolling Meghan Markle by being like, why would you put the one size pretzel in another bag? That's the dumbest, most wasteful thing I've ever heard.
A lot of people do dumb crap like this where they go to make it cuter. I'm more annoyed. She should go to Costco because these are the peanut butter filled pretzels.
Yeah.
Go to Costco, get a jug.
That's what I'm saying. Get a giant bag and then put them in a little bag. And then you can put them
in little bags. Because then I go, I understand. Walking around with that jug is embarrassing. It happens to me all the time. Jug life is not what you want.
Mm-mm.
Just by doing this story, we're probably going to get fed this algorithm. But I love the videos because people, as soon as this show dropped, were like, this is Meghan Markle selling her jam. And it's a gigantic Costco-sized thing of jam, dumping it into another container, wrapping it up and saying, with love, Meghan.
I'd buy that, honestly. I'm so sick of the big, giant jam taking up all of my fridge.
Same. Nobody told me there were smaller jams.
There's smaller jams? Jimmy Jams.